walk you home. 'Cause all this time I've been walking on my own, and I have nothing to regret, 'cause I'm not losing anything other than a headache. And I used to search for you in the ground, now I look for no one. I used to miss you, I don't want to now. But baby, you should know I kinda liked you, but I like myself more, so I'm better on my own, just go home. I kinda liked you, but you're wasting my time, I'm not losing my mind over you. I kinda liked you, boy, and you a lucky boy, but I don't want you anymore. I kinda liked you, but you're wasting my time, I'm not losing my mind over you. You try to tell me it's a mistake, that's exactly why I walked away. And that you're so selfish, you don't want me, you want my attention, and that's a no, baby. And I used to search for you in the ground, now I look for no one. I used to miss you, I don't want to now. But baby, you should know I kinda liked you, but I like myself more, so I'm better on my own, just go home. I kinda liked you, but you're wasting my time, I'm not losing my mind over you. I kinda liked you, boy, and you a lucky boy, but I don't want you anymore. I kinda liked you, but you're wasting my time, I'm not losing my mind over you. Even if you wanted to, I couldn't get to you. Even if you begged me to, I wouldn't want to. Even if you wanted to, I couldn't get to you. Even if you begged me to, I wouldn't want to. I kinda liked you, but I like myself more, so I'm better on my own, just go home. I kinda liked you, but you're wasting my time, I'm not losing my mind over you. I kinda liked you, boy, and you a lucky boy, but I don't want you anymore. I kinda liked you, but you're wasting my time, I'm not losing my mind over you. What am I trying for? Don't know what I want no more. You don't have to be the one, 'cause I'm so done trying to talk to you. My clear message won't come through. Now you're playing dumb again, but not with my name. You wanted something, I wanted nothing but to get stuck in your head. Lately I don't care, but you want me again. You wanted something worth me nothing, I got stuck in your head. Lately I don't care, but you want me again. Keep thinking I go out, 'cause I can live without you. Shut your mouth, please go ahead, find someone new. Ask me if I think we're through, maybe we were before we knew. I say no promises, no pain, these are just words said in vain. No promises, no pain, no promises, no pain, these are just words said in vain. I think it's funny how you think I've got nothing to do but to sit here crying after you. Words don't touch me anymore, got played out right out the door. Why I choose me when it's too late, baby, you won't forget my name. You wanted something, I wanted nothing but to get stuck in your head. Lady, I don't care, but you want me again. You wanted something worth me nothing, I got stuck in words said in vain. No promises, no pain. No promises, no pain. These are just words said in vain. You promised the world, then change your mind. Ask for it one last time. Typical story without a happy end. You promised the world, twisted my mind, that you win a medal by wasting my time. By wasting my time. Keep thinking I go out, cause I can do without you. Shut your mouth, it's no life on someone new. Ask me if we think it through. Maybe we were before we knew. I say no promises, no pain. These are just words said in vain. No promises, no pain. No promises, no pain. These are just words said in vain. No promises, no pain. No promises, no pain. These are just words said in vain. Words said in vain. I wish that I could call you now, but my mind doesn't want to. How do you stop a broken heart from getting what it wants to? 'Cause I couldn't hate you, even if you tried to. Words don't mean enough when it's hard to forget, forgive, believe what you said. Put out your fire before it's too late. Sad girls make bad boys cry. Baby, what a shame, shame. I spent too much time loving you. Play all your games, games. Won't buy your rules. I say this is the end. 'Cause I drunk too much love, too hard, too high on you to ever come down. Sad girls make bad boys cry. Summer ever, I was feeling all cold inside. You know what to say to make me feel dead when I'm alive. 'Cause I couldn't hate you, even if you tried to. Words don't mean enough when it's hard to forget, forgive, believe what you said. Put out your fire before it's too late. Sad girls make bad boys cry. Baby, what a shame, shame. I spent too much time loving you. Played all your games, games. Won't buy your rules. I say this is the end. 'Cause I drunk too much love, too high on you to ever come down. Sad girls make bad boys cry. Don't come back to me. I can see that you've been thinking about me lately. Used to be drunk on love, but I'm so sober now. Baby, what a shame, shame. I spent too much time loving you. Played all your games, games. Won't buy your rules. I say this is the end. 'Cause I drunk too much love, too high on you to ever come down. Sad girls make bad boys cry. Sad girls make bad boys cry.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode in the Garden series. Today I'm joined with London-based singer-songwriter Edith. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, thank you. So where I'm gonna start is right at the beginning. So from what I've read, you moved from Romania to England when you were age 10 to pursue a
Yeah.
music career, and I was just wondering, has it always been a childhood dream to like pursue music?
Yeah, it has. Well, actually, my parents moved here first because so when I was in Romania, I went to a private primary school where I was literally just speaking English. Um, so I was always like, oh, I want to live somewhere where I could speak English. I don't feel like this is my home. So we moved here. It was going to be Canada, but then we moved here. And then yeah, I've always just loved singing, and like I remember for my when I was doing English in primary school, I used to just like um download like song lyrics and like just read through and like learn everything to
Yeah.
like learn English. So it's always been a way for me to like express my feelings, learn. Yeah, just always love music.
Yeah, and as you were saying, you started to write songs obviously to express your feelings and your emotions. And I was
Yeah.
just wondering, how did you find the writing process for your most recent album, Promises? Did it just flow, or was it quite a slow process?
Yeah, because no, it's never really a slow process unless it's like a song would take around, let's say, a week to write because it's like you're stuck on a line or you're stuck on the idea and you just think, oh no, I can do better than that. But most of the times, you write a song in like an hour or like 10 minutes, because you just get that idea and you're just like, this is what I want to say. This is what's so easy about, I think it's so easy about songwriting because you literally say what you want to say. um, but obviously there are weeks where you just get stuck because when I write loads, there are weeks where I have no idea, so I'm just thinking, oh, am I going to ever have an idea again? And then I do.
Yeah. And how's lockdown impacted you? Have you been writing a lot more, considering you've been indoors a lot more?
Yes. So basically every day. That's what I do every day. It's like I just sit at my piano. I'm like, another day of writing. Yeah, because I've been trying to use this time to, write as much as I can and work on my next project. And I've been working on my next project a lot. And I'm really, really excited for it to come out because it's like an entire like new thing. And yeah, that's really exciting for me. So I'm actually really glad that lockdown happened because it just like showed me what I can do if I stay at home and how much you can do and get done if you focus on that one thing. Um, so yeah, it's been good for me.
And how's your creative process? Do you normally start with lyrics, or do you do the instrumental first?
That actually depends because it would like let's say I'm out and I just get this random idea. I like pull out my phone and I record it. And it could be a melody or it could be a line or it could be, um an entire verse, or it could be like a metaphor that I think, oh my god, like I thought of it and it's so cool, or an idea of a song. Or sometimes I just sit down and I'm like, okay, this is what happened, this is what I want to write the song about, where do I start? So like as I play along with the chords, I write the song. So it's not one first or the other, is written like is really both of them at the same time. And then I'd come home with the phone and I'd sit down at the piano and I'd be like, these are the chords for the melody. Or if it's the other way around with words, I'd just be like, oh, this is what I want, this is what the feeling sounded like. I try to match it up with the feeling as much
Yeah.
as I can. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really great way to really capture your lyrics, because a lot of the time thoughts can be so fleeting, so they literally come and
Exactly.
go. So it's a really good way of obviously
But it's
capturing
really
it.
hard sometimes because you're like, I do want this song to sound like the feeling, but you're just like, what does it sound like? It like finding that right sound. You're just like, oh, but this is not what I thought it would sound like. But then you go back to it and you're just like, okay, I'm gonna change it.
Yeah. And I was wondering, do you have a favorite song off your most recent album?
Off Promises.
Mm,
Um, I think Sad Girls is my favorite one because that was just the most fun to write. I actually wrote that really quickly. And as soon as I wrote it, I was like, this is, oh, actually, the idea for that, I was in bed and it was like 12. And I was making a playlist with songs and I was like, what am I gonna call this playlist. So I called it Sad Girls Make Bad Boys Cry. And then I thought to myself, oh, that would be a really cool like song idea. So the next day I wrote the song, and I was so excited to go into the studio with it. But I just feel like that song is just so summery, so just everything that I want a song to be. So yeah, that would be my favorite song
I would say
off that album.
definitely listening to that album. I thought a lot of the songs were really powerful and quite uplifting, but also
Yeah,
the lyrics were very authentic and raw, and that's very much what I took from that album. And
yeah.
I saw on your YouTube that you released an official video for for No Promises, No Pain, and I was just wondering, what was it like shooting that video? Was it quite a new experience? Was it quite a fun experience, or was it quite strange?
It was um it was actually quite scary because I thought, so what I wanted for it, what I said to my videographer, I was like, I want this to be like one take. And the thing is that I was so scared to film that because I'm on the streets of London, like people are walking past, they're thinking, what the hell is she doing? So this is what I wanted. Like I wanted it to be raw, like the feeling. I wanted it to be like you can obviously tell that people are going past and stuff, but I'm not being phased by that, although I was really, and like we did so many takes of it, but that's what I wanted the message to be. So I wanted it to, like, you can't hear the people, even, like, even if there are many people saying one thing and many people doing this, you're just not going to listen to this, but like this is the hidden message behind it. But yeah, it was scary to film it, and also we had to do many takes because so the videographer was like going backwards, and she like bumped into like a pole, so the camera literally went like this, so like we had to redo it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think initially I can imagine it would have been really daunting to just be walking down the streets of London lip syncing, but I think, as you're saying, like once you get really into it, you're just gonna like just do it, I guess.
Exactly. And she was like, oh, I think it would sound better if you actually sang it, not just lip sing. And I was just like, yeah, it's fine, like people are walking past, I already look weird enough. Yeah.
And I also saw that you released your own merch this year, and I was just
Yeah.
wondering, how has that journey been for you? And do you find it to be a really good way of interacting with your fans?
Yes, it is, because they were the ones who were like, "Oh, are you gonna put merch out? Are you gonna?" And I didn't think, because I'm like basically no one. I was like, "Oh, that would be really weird. Like people wouldn't wear something that says my name on it because I'm like no one." And then they were like, "No, no, no, I would want merch and like do this." And then I got some hoodies, and I said to my friend, "Well, what can we do with them? Because I want to do merch." And she was like, "Oh, we can tie dye." And then she did them for me, so we did them together. And yeah, they like everyone loved them. And then I obviously did the t-shirts, and now they're giving me ideas about like more merch. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna put more merch out with the new project?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay, well, what do you want?"
I
But
think
yeah,
that, yeah.
I think it's fun because you'd never think that people would want your face or your name or your like lyrics, you know what I mean? Like that's just strange for me. Like, why would anyone want to wear a hoodie that says my name on it? But I guess they do, and I just love it.
Yeah, well, I think it's just a testament to really that clearly like your music obviously is affecting people, and you do have fans, and it's quite nice to see that you do have that supportive community around your music that are really pushing you, because as you were saying initially, you were a bit skeptical of doing it, but um seeing people actually really getting into it and willing to buy merch, it's really nice to see that you've actually like put something out there for them.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, I think it's another way of like interacting with, the people who listen to your music, because until that I never knew that this many people would want my merch, and like this many people listen to my music, and that this many people are affected by it, or like, so I love it. I think it's brilliant. And like when I sent it out, I like did like a personalized card with it, which they loved. So I'm trying to like make it as close to me as possible, if you know what I mean.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
And prior to lockdown and obviously Corona, have you done many gigs, and have you met any of your fans actually in person?
I have actually. I did a few in London. I did Notting Hill, and I met a few of them in person, and it's actually, I don't know, it's a strange feeling because you're just like, these people just know me because they've listened to me. And then they're like, oh, can we get a picture together? And I'm just like, yeah, of course we can. But to me, they're just like my friends, you know? They're just
Mm,
like people that love like my music. They're just like my friends.
mm. And I saw that um, in an article you said that growing up you listened to a lot of the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and ABBA, and I was just wondering what really attracted you to their music, and how have they inspired you in terms of like writing and also just making your music?
Yeah, well, I actually lived with my uncle and my auntie for a while, and they're very like old school and like, you know, just listen to that sort. So that's where I got it from. I didn't just like go online and I was just like this nerd and like knew of it. So he just loved music and like, he loved, you know, old school, and like he would show me all these great artists and he would be like, oh, these are the real artists, and you know, that sort of person. So I just used to listen in the back of the car like for ages, and obviously I loved it. And what I love most of about it is that it's so, you know, like people like the Beatles, their songs are so raw, and even like on the instrumental part, everything is so raw, you know, like the big acoustic drums, like the
Yeah,
guitars, and I feel like I feel like nowadays that's kind of lost a little bit. Like old songs kind of use the same, you know, drums and guitars, and nothing sounds as raw as it did before. And also I feel like the songwriting was really raw, and it was really nice, and it was, some of it was almost like poetry, which I love because I'm a bit of a nerd maybe. But I love that. I love the way they express their feelings, and it was all just, you know, like even nowadays it's all like said in a song, but it's just different. I think the way they write the songs is more different, it's more direct, whereas I think back then it wasn't as direct. They were trying to say it in a nicer way, so that's why I
yeah, yeah.
think it was like more like poetry. um but yeah, in my new project I've been working a lot with like acoustic drums and acoustic guitars, and you know, trying to make it sound as raw as possible because I'm really trying to find my sound. And that's one thing I really love, you know, like acoustic stuff. And yeah, but still obviously poppy, just the big drums and synths. And I used to listen to a lot of 80s, which had a lot of synths in it, and this is what I've been doing now because I just love it. I think it was so fun.
So with every new project, are you really trying to push the boat out and just experiment even more to just really find the sound you're after?
Yeah, well, yeah, like I always try to find my sound, and it's not that I've tried, because now I know I have with this, especially with this new project. But I always try to see, you know, how much further can I go? Do you know what else can I do? Um, I'm the sort of person, you know, I change my hair like every 3 months, so it's like I'm like, what am I going to write about now? Do I change the topic? So I think with each project there would be a topic, you know. So each album would be, or like EP would be like a different chapter. They're
Mhm.
never going to all be the same, you know, or follow the same storyline, because I think that change is good.
So as you were saying, so do you view your songs as like short stories or chapters? So like, so you can just have like a, so as so like with your album, it's like a collection of short stories of your life. So you're really expressing just how you felt in this moment, in this period of your life.
Yeah, yeah, of course. It's a specific moment. It's not even, or sometimes it could be like a certain chapter of my life. It depends when the song was written. And sometimes it's nice to look back and think, you know, like when I listen back, I'm like, oh God, I really was angry in that moment, wasn't I, when I wrote this? But I love just like, you know, that for me is when I sit down and I write the song, it's like I'm getting it all out. Like everyone has different ways of dealing with stuff, and I just like writing. Even in my spare time I write poetry, so I've always just like creating stuff. And if I can write my stories and then other people relate to them, then I think that that's all that music is about. Music isn't just about the sound. I think that the most important thing in music is the story and the lyrics. And you know, if the lyrics don't tell a story, then the music isn't close to my heart. I won't connect to it. So I see it the same way for my music.
Sorry, that was my phone.
That's all right.
And yeah, I think that's really true. The way you're able to just really channel your emotions, and just think what music really gives you is that liberty and freedom and autonomy to really just channel all your energies and how you're feeling in that very moment into songs. And then obviously those songs will then be reached by people, and people will feel reached by songs they're listening to. And I think that's especially true of like the Beatles. You know,
Exactly.
the Beatles have literally just inspired all of music without a doubt. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think 100% that music is about the stories, because if it, I feel like it doesn't have essence if it doesn't have a story. You know, like what, like we turn to music when we feel sad, when we feel happy. You know, when you don't feel anything, like, and you're driving and it's night and you're gonna listen to a sad song and then you suddenly feel something. It's like, for me, anyways, music does that, and I think for a lot of people, even if they don't realize it, um music is all like it's always present in our and connecting with our feelings. But yeah, again, my mum is like a very musical person. She was in a band when she was younger, so I think I've learned a lot from her. And like, we always used to sing in the car, as long as I remember. I just sung in the car. So I guess this is why I'm like this. Yeah.
And when you're making your music, do you encounter any major obstacles, like just for example, like writer's block, or just you're not feeling that it's just going the right way?
Yeah, of course it happens, because it takes a lot of songs to find one that you're like, oh, this one's a good one. You might write 200 songs and pick out 30. And as I said previously, I would write for 2-3 weeks, and then for a week I would just be blank. I'd literally feel like I've never written a song before. I can't even write a line, even if I try, because I think, you know, when you just write about stuff and you write stories and stories, you kind of have to go out there and like live your life a little bit, and then get that inspiration and come back and write about it. And especially during lockdown, when I haven't been able to do anything, I've just, like, you know, read stories and like watched a few movies, and just thought of like past experiences. And even actually I've been talking to my friends and their experiences, and I've been writing about my friends, and I said to them, I really hope that you're not angry at me. I'm writing songs about you because I can't get out of the house and I can't live my life, so what am I going to write about?
Yeah, that's true, very true. um and so would you be able to tell us about any future projects that you currently have in the pipeline?
Yes, so, well, I can't tell you too much, but I could tell you there's a big project coming up, so bigger than anything I've ever done. And I'm releasing the new single. I don't have a date for it, so this is why I can't tell you. But I'm releasing the single sometimes in January, the first single, which I'm very, very excited about. So I'm just really excited for people to hear what I've been working on, and you know that this is my biggest project ever, and I'm so proud of it. That I'm so excited. But obviously I can't give it away. So
Yeah.
yeah.
um and I was also wondering, you had No Promises, No Pain was featured on BBC Introducing in Essex, and I was just wondering what was your reaction to that, because obviously that's quite an accomplishment. Were you like really, really happy and ecstatic about it?
Yeah, to be honest, I always submit my songs for BBC Essex, and a few of them were played. And I did an interview with them a few months ago. So I actually met Ollie because he is the presenter. Um, but yeah, it's just brilliant. To be honest, for like small artists, whenever we get any play on the radio, you're just like, oh my god, that's me. But I've never been able to hear it on the actual radio in the car, because each time I've been doing something like work, away in the studio, and I'm just like, God, I've missed it again. I can't believe it. So I have to listen again. I'm just like, this is not the real experience. I just want to hear my song on the radio. But it's great, honestly. It's great. Like to me, like even if someone random listens to my song and they're like, oh my God, that's a great song, that's like, I'm like, oh my God, yes, it's it makes me so happy. But people on the radio, you know, like playing it, and people in the car listening to it. Actually, this producer that I work with, he heard my song on the radio, and that's how he found me. And I was just like, oh my God, like people actually listen to it on the radio. Because when it goes out there, you don't think, like, especially that it's you don't think people would listen. You just think, oh, they'll be like, oh, who's that? But some of them do.
But hopefully one day you'll be able to hear yourself on the radio.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. And my last question is just if you could give any advice to anyone who's really starting out and just wants to become a musician, what advice would you give?
um I think that as long as they stay true to who they, and even if they don't know who they are as a musician, because that's normal at the start, you know, that you don't know what your sound might be, or you don't know what you want to write about, you know, like practice. So a lot of writing, a lot of playing, and most of it, like doing it alone. That's when you're going to find, you know, your sound and who you want to be. I literally feel just staying true to yourself, and like people are going to like you for who you are. And people, especially with artists, and not just musicians, like any artist, people are looking for something different. You know, they're not going to like two people if they're telling the same story. And I feel like all of us are different, and all of us have our own story. So never try follow the crowd, even if you feel like you should, because that's what I used to think. I used to be like, oh, but no one would ever like me. You know, I've never been in the charts if I don't sing the charts. But actually, it takes one person doing it to believe that you can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I literally think that the biggest advice I can give is, you know, focus on what you want to do, be yourself, and literally don't listen to anyone who's like, oh, but like so many other musicians are trying to make it. Oh, well, you're never gonna make it, because those are just not, they're not even jealous, they're just people, you know, talking for the sake of talking.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think it's also just important to not do yourself down as well, really.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, just writing a lot, because I watched this video of Ed Sheeran, and he was just saying, you know, the first few years of him writing, he just wrote a lot of rubbish, but he said like he kept writing, and obviously look where he is now. So
Yeah, of course. It's all practice, isn't it? Just
yeah, it
like
really
anything
is.
else, really. But as a musician, like you are gonna have days or even weeks when you're just like, oh, my life is terrible, I'm never gonna make it. Or and then you're gonna have weeks when you're like, I'm amazing, I'm incredible, I wrote this, you know. So you're gonna have ups and downs, but what matters the most is that you wake up from your downs and you're just like, okay, do you know what? I felt terrible today. I'm gonna go write a song about it and keep going.
Well, thank you, Edith, for taking the time out to do this project, and I wish you all the best with future endeavors. So thank you.
Thank you. This was a
Yeah.
pleasure. Thank you very much.